One special case, and it is the hardest reading in the method. I flagged it on day 6 and told you it was a phase 2 skill. You're now in phase 2. The collapse. All the cards land in one tight, nearly overlapping knot. There is no isolate. Nothing is spatially separate from anything. And the book says, in a collapse, there is usually one card that has been caught in the cluster but represents a distinct thread. Find it. So you ask directly, which card does not belong to this group? Now think about how strange this is. You're looking for an isolate that is not isolated. A card that is physically indistinguishable from the others, same pile, same position, no spatial separation whatsoever, but that is not truly part of what the group is doing. It has been absorbed, not integrated. The collapse swallowed it. And this is exactly consistent with everything else about the collapse, which is why I trust it. Remember what a collapse is, a breakdown of distinctions, everything modifying everything. And so, of course, a collapse will have pulled in something that does not belong. That is precisely the pathology. A field that has lost its ability to distinguish will not have distinguished this either. So the reading task in a collapse, as the book says, Spatial Psy, is to separate what has merged, not to supply more information. And finding the absorbed thread is the sharpest form of that separation. How? You cannot use geometry because the geometry has collapsed. That is the whole problem. So you use the one thing you have left, the somatic record. Go back to your touch log. Look at what each card registered as it passed the filter. In a collapse, the absorbed card is often the one whose somatic signature does not match the others, the weight among jolts or the jolt among weights. The geometry failed. The body did not. That is why you keep both records. 2 errors and they are opposites, and you will be tempted by both on different nights. Promoting it, reading it first, making it the protagonist. We have covered this. The story engine starts up, the isolate becomes a subject, the cluster gets demoted to background, and you have inverted the entire reading without ever noticing that you did. The correction is procedural, not attitudinal, and it is read forth, not because it matters less, because its meaning is not available until the thing it is commenting on has been established. You cannot hear a comment before you have heard the statement. And dismissing it. This is the opposite error, and it catches people who have absorbed today's lesson too enthusiastically. It sounds like, well, it is only a commentary, so it is secondary, a stray card, not really part of the reading. No, look at what you are ignoring. It passed the somatic filter. It registered in your hands. Under the rules of this method, a card that produces nothing does not get placed on the table. Do not place empty cards. So a stray card could not be there. The filter would have caught it. That is precisely and entirely what the filter is for. The isolate is not a lesser card. It is a card doing a different job. It is the only element in the layout that is speaking about the situation rather than from inside it. And on day 9, I told you the void is often the most important information in the layout. The isolate is its closest relative. Both of them are telling you about what the reading cannot see about itself. The cluster tells you what is happening. The isolate tells you what the happening is unable to account for. Neither one is the headline. They are different kinds of sentence. Your drill. 1. Run your session as always. Then review your map from 3 days back, day 14. 2. On the map, is there an isolate? Mark it with the legend the workbook gives you, the multiplication sign, X. It has been in the legend since day 1, alongside cluster, void, and edge. 3. Name the quality. deliberate, expelled, or overlooked, and name it using the geometry, the tightness of the cluster, the width of the void, whether anything drifts into the space between. Not by how the card makes you feel. The card's image is irrelevant to this determination, and you should not have turned it over yet. 4. Read it forth after the cluster, always. And when the temptation comes, and it will come, because the isolate is the most interesting thing on your table, remember that you are not resisting an interpretation. You are resisting a story you brought with you. 5. And then write one line, and it is the most valuable line you will write tonight. What is this cluster unable to see about itself? That is the question the isolate answers. Not, hey, what else is going on? Not, who is the outsider? What is this situation unable to account for? And if there is no isolate tonight, write that. A layout with no isolate is a layout in which nothing is commenting from outside and everything present is inside the situation. That is a real and specific geometry, and it means something, and it is not a boring result. That is day 17. An isolated card is always a commentary on the cluster, never a separate thread. And now you know why the word always is earned rather than asserted. It passed the filter, so it is relevant. Your hands kept it out of the group, so it is separated, relevant and separated. There is exactly one kind of thing that can be both. Something connected to the situation by relevance, but not by proximity. Something speaking about the group from outside the group. It cannot be an independent story, because an independent story would be irrelevant, and an irrelevant card would never have passed the filter. The filter forecloses it. The isolate is not the outsider, it is the angle. 3 qualities: deliberate, expelled, overlooked. Your map has asked you to name which one since day 1, and you now have the geometry to answer it. The tightness of the cluster, the width of the void, whether anything occupies the space between. Distance, cluster, and void, working together to locate something that none of them could find alone. That is the trunk doing what a trunk does. You're not asked to believe, you're asked to record. Tomorrow is a hard one, and I'm going to name it before you get there, because I suspect it has already started. You have not improved in about a week. The sessions feel the same as they did on day 10. You're doing everything correctly, and nothing seems to be sharpening, and a quiet suspicion has begun that you have gone as far as this is going to take you. That is the plateau. It arrives on schedule. It is the most common place people quit. And tomorrow I will tell you exactly what is happening, because something is happening and it is not what it feels like. I'm Dr. Rivka Edery, signing off on day 17. Looking forward to seeing you on day 18 as we continue our spatial sight method. Thank you so much, and see you soon.